I'm on my bike right now, looking for black hawthorn berries. When I look for black hawthorn and kind of berries in general, I always like edges. So the sides of bike trails like this are really good because they get a lot of sun. Right here, it's a little bit too much canopy up there, not letting enough sun in to get really good berries on the side of the trail here. But up there, I'm seeing a kind of a big gap in the trees. So we're gonna look over there and see if we can find some good hawthorn berries. So I did find one tree. It's kind of cool. These depressions in the grass, I'm pretty sure, are where the elk bedded. And you can actually see how there's kind of a line right here where they've been eaten away by the animals. And I'm gonna check out and see. It looks like the berries are here. They're not quite ripe yet. They're like, see how some of them are red? Hawthorn berries you don't want to pick before they're ripe. They're also going to be probably pretty firm. If you pick them before they're ripe, they have way more pectin in them when they're unripe like this, and not as much flavor and sugars. And the pectin will basically just solidify anything that you're working on into like a giant jelly chunk. So we don't necessarily want that, but I'm going to make a note of this spot for later because look at all of these berries. And sometimes some berries will be ripe and others will not be ripe. We got to keep looking. I'm feeling really positive about this next stretch because there's so much sun here. Plants that get more sun tend to ripen earlier. So I know that there's a patch up here because I've ridden past it earlier this year. So let's go. So if you know anything about black hawthorn berries, you know that they're not the tastiest berry in the world. And so you might be wondering why the heck I'm out here looking for them. Well, hawthorn berries are actually really medicinal and they have a lot of flavonoids in them, which are an antioxidant. So people use them to strengthen their blood vessels and strengthen the heart muscle. And there's actually been a lot of research about that. And black hawthorn berries are our native version of hawthorn. We also have one-seed hawthorn berries, which I also harvest, but they don't grow as well where I live. So I'm looking for black hawthorn berries today, and I'm hoping to make a fruit leather that has a lot of antioxidants in it. One really great way to tell when black hawthorn berries are ripe is that you will see birds eating them. Check out this guy. He's nomming on those. I don't want to get any closer because otherwise I'll scare him away. Yeah, he's giving me an eye. He knows I'm here. Go ahead and munch, friend. Go ahead and munch. I think I see the tree that I would like to pick from. Look at those. All right, guys, these are looking more promising. Far darker and nice orange insides and pretty soft. These have seeds inside of them, so you need to be careful when you eat them. Mild sweetness inside, which is what we want. And you will notice that these bushes that we're about to pick from have also been heavily browsed by deer and elk because there's this gap there. One pretty foolproof way to tell whether they're ripe or not is if it comes off really easily, then it's ripe. And if it doesn't want to come off, like this guy, then it's probably not ripe. All right, this is probably a good time to talk a little bit about how to identify this and where it grows. So let's start with where it grows. Basically, mostly in the Pacific Northwest, all over Washington, parts of Oregon, parts of Idaho, and parts of BC, and then a little bit in Northern California along the coast. It likes two main habitats, which is riparian areas and hedgerows. The blackberries grow in little clusters, and the flowers, which bloom usually in May, are white. The leaves have irregular lobes, and the flowers have 5 petals, and the berries have kind of 5 pointed stamens that remain kind of like apples do. They are in the rose family after all. Ouch. So remember that hawthorn has these ginormous inch-long thorns that were actually once used as fish hooks by the indigenous people of this region, and they are really stabby. The wood's pretty flexible too, so you can pull on them. The branches, obviously don't pull too hard, but like when you're picking elderberries, you really don't want to pull on the branches because you can break them off. So if you can't reach a cluster of elderberries, don't pull on it. But this particular plant, you can actually pull on the branches a little bit. So that's why I'm pulling on this one, so I can reach the higher ones, which Usually if you have a lot of deer in your area like we do here, they are going to be a little bit high. And you can even bring a stool or something to help with your harvest if you are able. I rode my bike here, so couldn't really carry a ladder or a stool. It's interesting, some of these are not ripe yet and some of them are like already desiccated, so I kind of have to be a little bit selective about which ones I choose. There's not really, the desiccated ones, like unless they have bugs in them, like you can see little bug holes, they're not necessarily going to be bad. So got birds flying around me. They're probably like, why are you eating our berries? Which is why we always leave some for the birds, which is not hard because this is a thicket forming plant, and so there's always going to be berries that I can't reach. But just keep that in mind when you're harvesting any berry. Always leave some behind for the birds because they can't go to the grocery store. I might recommend wearing gloves. I got a little scratched up. I always manage to spill my berries on the ground. I'm just gonna have to pick them back up. So I have harvested about 2.5, 3 cups. Remember that because these have so many seeds, you need to harvest more of them than you think for fruit leather, because we're gonna remove the seeds when we make the fruit leather.